Hi guys, welcome to Straight News TV. Been a hell of a long time since we did one of these, but glad to be back. Really, just after the international break as well, so in actual fact, it's probably quite timely. We are sorry about the delay, as per usual. Straight News TV never starts on time. Um, Joey was having a poop this time. Took all the time. He was having a conversation about Chelsea, of all things, about 10 minutes before we went on there, and then decided he was going to go for a massive shit. So, yeah, congratulations to Joey. He's made it. How are we doing, Joey?
Well, now I feel much lighter and much better. It's been a while. Glad to be back.
Yeah, you feel like a lighter version of Anderson, I suppose. And on that note, there's probably his lucky like here in Pasha. So, Pasha, how are we doing, pal?
Yeah, man, it's always a pleasure to talk about United. It's been a while, and yeah, looking forward to talking about our beloved club today. Looking forward to it.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I'm going to start off just with a couple of little bits. Jonathan has been absolutely brilliant over the time that we've not been doing any live shows or Sunday shows with giving you guys all the stuff that you need to do with the interviews and such like. It's been absolutely brilliant. Make sure you check those out. There's some absolute superb content. And back to it, shall we say? We're good to see Nate in the comments on YouTube. Get on that live chat and have a discussion amongst yourselves, and we'll bring you into it later on in the chat, guys. I think I'm going to skip Arsenal. I think the whole club sort of skipped Arsenal. I think they came at the international time break, whatever you want to call it, came at the right time, just to try and forget about that. And then when you reassess it, and I saw a lot of people going, well, yeah, we was definitely playing. Definitely shit, definitely this, definitely the other. Great, we were. But we're still third, we're still 2 points behind City. And this season's not over. It's only October. So, yeah, I think we're going to skip off that, and I'm going to join Pasha first. On his thoughts about this game against Everton, considering the fact that they came from, what was it, 1-1? Yeah, it was a 1-1 draw, wasn't it, against Liverpool in their last match?
Yeah, the thing with Everton is that it's been a while we haven't won there in Goodison Park. Goodison Park has been one of those away fixtures for us that we struggle. Especially we all know that Rooney struggles there, and on Rooney's form, I can't wait until the fans to go bash him again. The thing with United is that we have the players, but the build-up play is too slow. And what I mean by that is, I mean, I understand the whole, total football, the total position game, but it makes them track back, and we need to immediately, do a counterattack, play that high tempo kind of style of game, and to bring a little bit of creativity. We're too predictable at times, and it needs to be a little rotation. And I think now with the players that have been on international week, it's gonna be really interesting to see who he's actually gonna start, which of these players are worn out. But the biggest thing that I fear, if Martinez has done his homework, is that, look, they have the pace, and United sucks with pace, right? And if he starts like a player like Delufu or Kone on the flanks, or even Naismith with, Ross Barkley in the number 10 role, and you got Lukaku up top, and if they win the battle with Gareth Barry, I believe, and McCarthy, it's going to be tough. But then we always have to have the player of Schneiderlin. I think Schneiderlin is the most key player in our squad this season. And that's because of the less mobility that he brings. He brings a lot of stuff that a lot of United fans don't see. And I've seen people saying that, oh, what does Schneiderlin do? And Serge was one of them, believe it or not. They don't see that he brings that, you know, breaking up plays, bring that nastiness to the team, and to let the other players push up, as opposed to always us tracking down. So I believe that him missing against Arsenal was a big key factor that we lost that match. Because Carrick and Schweinsteiger, I think you both will agree with me that they're very similar players. And Carrick hasn't been up to his best form. But Schneiderlin or Ander Herrera or Schneiderlin or Boston will be perfect. Obviously, Rooney will definitely start this match. If he's still injured, I hope I could see Ander Herrera in the squad in the number 10 role. But there's also the thing that I'm worried about is Memphis Depay going to start, because he has been, with a lot of the attitude problems he's shown off the pitch now, got himself into trouble, and he's been very too predictable at times. Has been a star for us in the Champions League. So, I mean, I don't want to waste Joyce. I know Joey wants to talk a lot, but it's going to be interesting to how we're going to, set up. Martial, right, attacking winger, could play on both flanks. Number 9, he is And for a 19-year-old to play like that at that tempo, at that age, that means we got a star in our hands. And I credit for Louis van Gaal to getting a player like that. And I even love the kid more because he rejected Chelsea to join us because even they got them a higher fee. So it'll be interesting if what Martinez is going to do. Is Martinez going to play Mohamed Besic, McCarthy, and Gareth Barry on a 3-man midfield and play with a 4-2-3? Or is it going to be a 4-2-3-1 and put the likes of Deulofeu or Naismith or Kone on defense to beat us with pace? So it'll be interesting to see. But I do think that Louis van Gaal needs to be a little bit more defensive tactically against them because this is an away fixture. And if we slip the first goal, I don't think we see us coming back because we have a horrible record with Louis van Gaal trying to come back when we conceded a goal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not exactly an idealised situation, is it? Constantly keep coming back from 1-0 down. I'm going to take up a bit on your wings comment from that. I watched that Liverpool-Everton match. Or should we say Everton-Liverpool match before we played the other Saturday. And they were very narrow, Everton. They were very narrow. You didn't mention Ross Barkley in there. Now, I was watching the Breeze Sport video before. It was from Hotel Football. Jonathan went down. Some good photos he's taken. And a couple of the lads mentioned it on there about Barkley, especially Rio Ferdinand, about how he was brought into the England team but never got any matches. But at club level, he is progressing quite nicely, and he did all right for a couple of England games during international breaks. So I think maybe he might be put straight into that side, just to mix it up. He's got great skill. He knows when to let go of the ball when he needs to, and he can mix it up there as well. So it's going to be quite tough. Joey, I'm going to come to you. Now you've had a settled poo. What do you think? What do you think of Everton as opposition?
I think I almost enjoy watching them at times. Not last year, but I think Martinez has them playing some good football at times. I think what I like about Martinez is he's very flexible in his tactics. He can line up one way to against United, and then he can play counterattack if he needs to. He's very tactically astute, Martinez. He has some good players. Lukaku didn't have the best year last year, and he seems to be back amongst the goals. I believe he has 5 now. You were just touching on Ross Barkley. I think Ross Barkley potentially could be a superstar. I think he's got some pace. He can pass the ball. He's got vision. He's got an eye for goal. He scored some worldies in his short career. So I think they do have some really nice pieces. And then you look at everything comes from a good foundation in the back. Leighton Baines is obviously out, but when he's in there and they have Coleman and Stones and Jagielka with Tim Howard behind him, I think that really lets them do what they need to do. Obviously Gareth Barry and McCarthy. So they're not a bad side. They're a top 7, top 6 side. Europa League, maybe with Chelsea's bad form, they did just beat Chelsea 3-1. Maybe they creep into the Champions League. Who knows? That 4th spot could be up for grabs. You never know. But I am worried about this game. I really am. I think you saw Blind, he can be caught out, with pace or with size, and I think that the other Belgian, Lukaku, I think he might sit on Blind and force Smalling to try and come over and cover him. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's going to be like how we line up. I think he needs to make some changes. We've been pretty much going with a settled starting 11. It's been before Shaw got hurt, it was Shaw, Darmian, Blind, Smalling, then the Schmidfield, or that was a little different. But then it's been Memphis, Rooney, Mata up front. We've seen a couple different number 10s, but I completely agree with Pasha about Ander Herrera. I don't know if he will be around at this game. I don't know about. I just read something that he might still be in Italy, and then talking about his fitness still. But I think Ander Herrera's got to play. I think Rooney's limiting this team. I think we suffer from a severe lack of pace. We're susceptible to pace, and we lack it. If you get somebody in there like Ander Herrera in number 10, his mind is just 2 or 3 moves ahead of everybody else. He's got vision. He's got confidence right now. He's younger. Rooney for me is just a passenger at this point. These last few games, I was really optimistic, and then the hat trick came, and then he got the goal at Sunderland, which he didn't even really do anything. He was just in the right spot at the right time, and the ball deflected off him practically. I think that Lewis has to show his balls and make some changes. I I think that there's the potential to be a really good side, but I hope that his stubbornness doesn't get in the way this year. I want to see some exciting football. You know, it's one thing to grind out results and things like that, and I'm happy where we are in the table. But you know, there will be more games like Arsenal if he doesn't become a little more flexible in his selections. You know, because I thought the tactics were just completely wrong, and the selection. You know, I would have played Ashley Young at left back. If Valencia could have started, he's done well against Alexis Sanchez in both games last season, and you see him do well internationally. I would have put Valencia in and Darmian at left back. You know, at times you saw Schweinsteiger, the highest player up the pitch, trying to sit on Cazorla, their playmaker, and it just didn't work. Not to mention, I was telling you boys, when Juan Mata came out, I think it was that Wednesday or Thursday, and said, we're tired, I knew we were fucked. So, you know, there is a serious lack of depth, and there needs to be some rotation already.
Yeah, Juan Mata's comments before that Arsenal game about being tired, and you're thinking, hang on a minute. You've played in Champions League teams where you've had to play Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday. You know, how the hell are you tired at this point? I think squad rotation has got to be a key to this. I can't remember. I put a massive status up on my Facebook status literally as that game ended against Arsenal about how dire Wayne Rooney was. Now, I had a conversation with someone that I remember that I've known for ages. About him a couple of days afterwards. And you know, it's that spur of the moment thing. You want to go and criticise someone that's had a really bad game. And he sort of brought me back to the point where, how bad has Rooney actually got? To me, it's really plain to see. Just thinking about the sort of what he used to do. He used to take 1 and 2 touches out of his feet, and bang, it was gone. It was either a good pass, or a 1-2, or it was a shot on target. He dibbles around with the ball like, what are you doing, mate? Yeah, I've got the ball. It's here somewhere, mate. I'll give it to you in about 35 seconds when I've lost my head. It's like, I really like to see Herrera pick up, like Pasha said there, pick up that role, and he will have his head 2-3 seconds ahead of where Wayne Rooney is at the moment. Wayne Rooney needs to go back to the training ground and take something about his game and just go and do it on his own and come back with a more focused mind. Even his captaincy, to me, at the moment, is starting to lack a bit of quality. Well, we didn't say anything since for a while because we've not been on, but I said after that Wolfsburg game last week, after the Wolfsburg game, about how he used to run after referees. He used to chase referees around the pitch, and it was annoying. He did it in his younger years, and he still does it today, and he still actually spends more time arguing with referees than playing football at times. But that Wolfsburg game, every single decision was going against United. It was like a Sunday League referee had gone against us. Something went wrong in his head, and he went against us over and over again. The whole Trafford booed that referee every time he blew his whistle. But Rooney would just stand there in the middle of the pitch slide, nothing was happening. It's like, hang a minute, what's going on? You're not going to chase this referee down and have words. He did it for England for years. He did it for United for years. Why has he all of a sudden stopped? He did it against Arsenal a couple of times, and I thought, what the hell? Why have you stopped doing this? So I think he has got to go and have a proper look at himself, be taken out the team, and come back. Hopefully, as a better player for all us as United fans. I don't think we'd ever want him to see, to get to a point in this career where he's actually going to drop off really that badly. And yeah, I think that Pereira even could be a better option in that midfield at this point in time. Pereira could actually be a better option than putting Memphis in the team at this point. Maybe, you watch McCall, you watch that point and you go, Memphis is so predictable. They just lost with Holland. How his head's going to be at the moment is unpredictable at the moment. But I just hope that either one or two of them he makes some changes, and we come out with a completely different census. But Goodison Park's just a bulky ground for United, and always has been. So he's going to have to do something quite rapid. Joey, would you think that those rapid changes could be something that we need to foresee for the whole future? Given the fact that we've not had some bad results, we have turned some results round at the start of the season. We are quite high up placed for where we're playing at the moment. You know, he's grinded out some good results for a manager. But do you think that this just needs to be a bit of a period where we just make the changes just to see us through this harsh time at the moment? It sounds a bit harsh on him for it to be a harsh time, but you get where I'm going with it.
Yeah, I think that it's not like wholesale changes, but I think just a few tweaks here and there. I think, it's tough because, obviously Rooney's the captain, he's the highest earner at the club, but imagine if Herrera's in there, the football that this side could produce. I just want to see it. I just want to, there's a Capital One Cup game coming up soon. I would like to see somebody other than, take Rooney out the team and let's see how they play because, like you're saying, he's just dilly-dallying around the ball. His decision-making isn't there. And, I mean, Rooney's a very old 29, 30. I mean, I don't know how old everyone else is, but when you get to the age that he's at, I'm almost there, your body it doesn't do the same things it did 5-6 years ago, and the recoveries take longer. Even your mind starts to get a little older as you go. So, it's unfortunate. I love Rooney. He's one of my favorite players. When he was in his heyday, in his prime, the things he used to do, he was just like a bulldog, like Zlatan said. But, just the Luke Shaw injury really, really hurt us because now we're like, who are we going to put there? We have Darmian who can do it and Blind can do it. But I think, I said it at the beginning on Twitter when the transfer window closed. I was a little upset, and I said, we're a Smalling injury away from a center back crisis. And it hasn't happened to Smalling, knock on wood, but it's happened to Luke Shaw. We've lost him for the year, and that's, kind of hampered us. It'll be interesting. I would like to see maybe Blind go out to left back. You bring Jones back into the team. I just want to see a few tweaks. I don't want to see, I don't think you throw it out completely because, we are grinding out results, like you said, but the football hasn't been the greatest. It's been better in the Champions League because obviously you get more space and more time on the ball. But, like we were saying earlier, there's just certain things that you can't do. You can't start Carrick and Schweinsteiger together. You can't start Ashley Young at left back. It just doesn't work. But this is a very crucial period coming up in the season, these next couple games. I'm not going to say you're going to win the title or not in October, but I want to see us go on a run like we went on last season. I want to see that good football. I want to see, players taking on their man. And I'm excited a little bit, too, because of Anthony Martial. I think he's given us something we haven't had for a while. And if Memphis, he's not doing too bad. I think there's just some massive expectation on him. We kind of still need to just, relax a little bit. He still has, the couple, 4 goals now in his 9 games, and statistically he's doing better than Sterling, but, nobody's, on Sterling and his price tag. So I think, maybe it's just me, but I have this vision in my head of a front 4 of Martial, Memphis, Mata, and Herrera in there, all just, working 1-2s, interchanging, and playing some really sexy football. And it could happen, it could not, but I think Anthony Martial has injected some excitement into the team that hasn't been there.
Yeah, Martial. I'd love to see Martial. It's like a given to him now at the moment. He played so well against that Liverpool game. He's now pretty much first name on the team sheet after David De Gea. Well, before David De Gea, possibly. If you're thinking Louis van Gaal's way of attacking, sort out those two. But we can't just rely on one bloke. Unfortunately, this is not going to work. Pasha, someone made this comment before. Pasha, right? They tweeted us before, and I'm going to have to try and find it on Twitter for their handle. But they asked, would a top 4 finish this season be a decent result again.
Well, do you want to lose Champions League again? Like,
Well, that's dependent on if England loses its extra spot in that point of view, really.
let's let me just say one more thing. Listen, all right, Fergie spoiled all of us. We have this club, it's Manchester United. There's high expectations, right? We will get top four. Now, depending if we get second or third, that's impressive. But what I do want to see, we got to get a second tier trophy like FA Cup, which we haven't won in years. Capital One Cup is it's Mickey Mouse Cup, but that's still good. But I do want to get back to the topic of Wayne Rooney. I feel like as Joy was talking about, as you age, you're not used. No, what you're supposed to be. The thing this team is so slow is because is Louis van Gaal playing this team to play just the way to fit Wayne Rooney style of gaming, or is it something else? You see, that's the thing. With the pace of Martial and Memphis Depay, Rooney's not up to that standard. He holds the play down. You know what I'm trying to say with the lack of pace, right? But the thing that I like about Martial is opposed to Memphis, they're both two young lads. They got a huge future of them, right? But Memphis tries to force a lot of things. He just tries to force it, and it's very predictable. As opposed to Martial, he just plays it simple. A perfect example, I believe it was Wolfsburg, if I'm not mistaken, that Martial easily passed it to Memphis, but Memphis should have passed it for Martial for the easy goal, but he was trying to force for the goal because he wants to be it's all about me, and that just shows you that it's his young mentality, And the thing with Memphis right now, he's having that struggle like he did in his early years at PSV, that he had Kevin Strootman being his mentor, and right now at United, his mentor is Bastian Schweinsteiger, because of the tough upbringing he has, because his father left and whatnot. But my question right now is Louis van Gaal making this team play the way it fits Wayne Rooney style of play, or is it somebody else? Because if that's the case, the pace of Memphis Depay and Martial, and you could say Mata is not a really pacey guy, but Rooney does not have that pace, and he's pushing us back again with his form. But once again, I feel that when Wayne Rooney starts scoring, he'll be back to himself. But when that day will come, we don't know. He has a horrible track record against Everton. But my biggest issue right now is that which players will fit. I do want to see different tactical changes, and this might be a little different. I do want to see Darmian as right back, but with the pairings, I want to see Smalling and Jones, just because the left back issue has become a big deal. And I don't know, with Valencia going back to South America with the time difference, I just want to see Blind there. Maybe the guy is worn out after just starting basically for Ecuador for a couple of times. But it's a lot of questions need to be asked, and to see what's the problem is. Memphis has a huge career out of him, but he needs to change that little bit of attitude of his, that he has a lot of problems going off the pitch, and he shows himself a lot to the media, and I guess that's just a young mentality that, listen, this is what I got, I'm going to keep showing it off, which it will hurt him, because he's been the big news. Even the Dutch media, they keep talking about him, that he needs to change his attitude. He just had a confrontation with the RVP in Holland. But we don't want that kind of mentality in the dressing room, because it could create more tensions, And the thing that I do want Memphis is that we all know you're a talented kid, but stop forcing it. Stop trying too hard is what I want to say. He's very predictable. We all know he's going to cut in and shoot it with his right, But I want to see that different style of play he brought with PSV, that he wasn't very predictable. He would take on players. He has a very hard time now taking on players against English Premier League right backs. And once again, I just want to see the biggest thing right now. I want to see Schneider in that team, because we needed that as a player that we desperately needed against Arsenal. We bottled it, right? And hopefully Martinez hasn't done his homework. He doesn't use pace against us, but I don't know how he's gonna set up. But I do believe with the international duty, there needs to be a switch of tactical changes. And but if he's still building the team around Wayne Rooney, with Rooney's pace, it's not up to the standards of Martial or Depay. That's going to just hinder us. That's just my personal opinion.
That's good to hear. It's always your personal opinion. You're not representing anybody but Pasha. It was Adam that sent in that question on Twitter earlier on, and thanks for his enthusiasm that we are back. He quite enjoyed Jonathan's other piece with a former United player from back in the 80s, the first Dutch player to play for United. Absolute quality bit. Go over to Full Time Devils and check out that file. You've got to find it on fulltimedevils.com. Somehow they've got a website going for some reason. I thought the YouTube channel was big enough. But yeah, go and catch that out on there. It's only a few minutes long. The whole of that interview, full and in depth, will be on Shredder News soon. So that'll be checking out. I'm just going to get back onto these comments because apart from Pasha and Thingy, Matt's joining in on the comments, and there's quite a few people joining, and it's good to see. And when I say Matt, I was talking about Burgess. There is a couple of Matts on there at the moment. Oh, it's Adam Burgess, not Matt Burgess. I get confused with these people. It's good to see Nate's actually. I'm going to get Nate on possibly Sunday and see what's going on there. Nate's saying that Robin's too predictable. Or was he just making another comment from somebody else? I'm actually fast picking up on that point because Robin's been sensational for years. I'm thinking at the moment, when I looked at our Arsenal team, they have got some extremely pacey players. And it's not just in the wings. Walcott, yeah, he played at the wing. He now plays up top. Absolute pure pace on him. You can play Chamberlain. You can play anybody across that midfield. That's got some pace in them. And I think that this was actually another thing that was mentioned on the Free Sport video tonight. If you can got time to go and watch it, it's about an hour long. Was the fact that United used to be a team that went and attacked teams. They went and played on the counter-attack when they didn't have the ball. When they got the ball after a team had held the ball. United used to dominate possession by attacking and breaking teams down. Now it's the opposite way around because United have not got the pace to do that. And so the slow build-up play, there's a lot of tempo, there's a lot of people commenting on that on the comments, has actually made us the reverse of what we used to be. Talking back in the 90s, today's show was including Andy Cole, who I think was one of United's best number 9s. Why? Because he was partnered with a superb number 10. And for me, United need to go back to finding 2 players that can do that. For number 10, unfortunately, I don't think this is Rooney. Someone mentioned that Rooney's been playing top-class football from the age of 16, and that might be the reason why we're seeing such a downfall in the quality of his football now than we would do from other players later on in their years. Most players peak around 28, 29, and they'll go on to play to 34, 35. But Rooney played top level at 16. He debuted for England at the age of 17. And I think that maybe is a really good point in why we're now possibly going to have to look further than Rooney. Would you agree with that? I'm generally just breathing over it without actually looking at names. But yeah, so go on then, Joey. Do you think that that's a key point in the fact that we now have to look past Rooney as an era, despite what he'd done for the club?
I think it's it's a possibility. It's just an idea. It might be true, it might not be true, but it could. I mean, it makes a little bit of sense. It doesn't in some ways, but this guy's been playing at the highest level for 13 years now in the Premier League. Massive expectations every year, playing for a big club, playing for England. The pressures that the media and the fans put on them. He's had some injuries. Broken foot in there. It's just a possibility, and it could make sense. I think that we've seen him play in midfield last year. He wasn't spectacular. Maybe he learns it, but I really do. I think it's time to move on. The guy's making $300K a week. I wouldn't pay someone $300K a week to do that. What he's doing, because he's not. He's got 1 goal this season, minus the Bruges game, which you don't even really count. It's time to move on. I think he's had his time. I think he could still play in the Premier League for an Everton, or not somebody in the top 3 or 4, or he could become a sub. Is he going to accept that? I don't know. But I really, like I said, when I was watching think it was the Wolfsburg game, he was just dreadful. It wasn't even. It was like playing with a man down with a red card. He just didn't do anything. I think that it's his body's caught up to him, and it's affecting him because you can't do this. What you could do a few years ago. You're not as quick. Your mind's not as quick. You can't outrun players now. You have to pass. You got to be smarter in your passing. You have to be better in your movement. But again, I'm not going to compare myself to Wayne Rooney, but I used to have more pace than I did now, and I don't have it anymore. I'm not as fast as I used to be when I was 23, 22. You have to adjust, and it sucks because you see all these little kids, 20, 21, running around you, just blowing by you, and you're thinking, fucking hell, was I that fast ever, or are these kids just getting faster? So either Rooney adapts his game and learns to play midfield, or he becomes a sub. But yeah, I think all the years have caught up to him finally. I really do. That's my opinion. You can agree with it or not, but I would like to hear other ideas on the subject. What happened to Rooney? Because ever since really, I think it was the 20th title, it just hasn't been the same. And it's unfortunate but when you look back, the guy has had a hell of a career.
Yeah, he has had a hell of a career. I watched the BBC hour with him, and I've never had anything against Rooney. Yeah, the way his transfer dealings went about and the whole contract renewals. Paul Stress.
Can I say something about that?
Manipulated that bit.
Can I say something about that? Yeah. This whole, he wants to leave the club, isn't that just typical modern day football? Wasn't it Dennis Law that wanted to leave the club in the Busby era? That he wanted to leave? But nobody seems to be talking about that. You know what I'm trying to say? It's just modern day football. Oh, just because they're playing, we need to hate him. This guy has basically done so much for our club, but our own fans feel like it's disgusting that how some of our fans say he hasn't done anything. If it was Sergio Aguero with the stats Wayne Rooney had, our own fans would be pissing to take that, let's go buy Aguero. You know what I'm saying? It was our own Dennis Law, Trinity, that wanted to leave the club during that tough times. He wanted to leave United because he wanted a higher pay. Let's not forget about the history now, right? But if you're gonna talk about that, then why is there a statue of Dennis Law out there? As much of a great legend he was, look at the stats that Wayne Rooney has. He passed everybody, he might pass him again. Let's talk about reality now. This is bullshit that I hate. As much as Wayne Rooney has been an awful player, stop with the bullshit that he's been not. This man, which fucking striker has there been that could play in center defensive mid, could play in the number 10 role, could play in the number 9 role? He gives it all for his team. Don't tell me he's fat. The guy's a fucking machine when he wants to be. Wayne Rooney, at the age of 18, teared up Galatasaray. He plays for the badge. Yes, he hasn't been up to his stat, but it's sickening to hear how some of our own fans say he hasn't done shit for the club. What do you mean he hasn't done shit for the club? So that means you're going to call Sir Bobby Charlton shit because he's going to surpass him soon? You know what I'm trying to say? And it's sickening to see our own fans nowadays. All we do is criticize our own players. We find a scapegoat, and that's all we bash you. Last year was Valencia. Obviously, you could bash Wayne Rooney. He's been atrocious. But what I'm trying to say is, please don't ever say that this guy hasn't done anything. He has done so much for this club. He has done so much for this club. And once he leaves, our own fans will appreciate what he's done for us. Once he leaves, just because he wanted it. It's modern day football. Everybody wants a higher pay. And it's just part of the game. So I'm tired of always hearing all these negativity of our own players always making scapegoats nowadays. First it's Blind, now it's Darmian, now let me get Schneiderlin. Wayne Rooney's always a scapegoat. Whatever Wayne Rooney does, if he misses a ball, it's Wayne Rooney. We lost the game because of Wayne Rooney. As awful he's been, let's appreciate what this guy has done for us, and let's just get behind the guy's back and support him. Every player has tough times, but one thing that needs to be done is that if we are true United fans, right? I love the United fans. They always say Rooney, Rooney, Rooney. But when it comes to social media, it's like Rooney out, Rooney out, Rooney out, Rooney out. I don't want Rooney in the starting 11, right? Because I think he needs to settle it down, right? But one thing I always will say is that I support the guy because he's done so much for our club and he needs to be respected. That's it.
That is why I have passion on, because I love a bit of passion. Passion with passion. But yeah, I'm going to pick up on that little bit that you pointed out there, well, it wasn't a little bit, it was a fucking enormous amount there. Yeah, you do take a drink, Patrick, because you needed to sort of fill up after that. But yeah, he looked excellent, excellent. And I wasn't suggesting that we'd sell him. There was a couple of people going, you can't sell Rooney, that's unsellable. Louis van Gaal would have people's backs. I'm not saying he's going to be sellable now, but we've either got to look for a solution where he's useful in the team and he becomes part of that team and the squad that makes a difference in a different role or in a different way to what he used to do. Or and in the meantime, while we're doing that, we've got to find a solution that's for after Rooney's gone. If that's because he's moved on to go and play in the MLS, if that's because he's decided he's going to retire, or whatever stage, I just think that we have to look beyond him, even this early, despite the fact that he could play till he's 35. He could play for the next 5-6 years. At the top level, I don't know, but I think that it's quite a good debatable point. But I think the here and now is going to be the key, because we need to sort of move this quickly. Louis van Gaal's talking about bringing silverware before he leaves. Surely he's got to realise that to do that, he's either going to have to spend big on some really big players that can pretty much do what Van Persie did in 2012, 2013, and literally run off and win the trophy by themselves. Or he's going to have to buy a few players that are going to be able to do that and carry the likes of a Rooney when he's not in form, or a Carrick when he's not in form, Valencia at the moment. What did he got? He got about 80 minutes in that Wolfsburg game and was got taken out by for Ashley Young because of his because he's fitter, basically. They're both wingers, but I think that might be a bit of a Louis van Gaal's downfall in that point, in actual facts, because Young played at left wing while Valencia was playing right back last season. You can't keep up that type of level if you're not going to be playing in your right position. Just to finish off, then I'm going to come to Joey and then to Pasha for score predictions. Then this is going to be quite a tough one. So Joey, let's have your score prediction for Saturday.
I won't predict a loss, though it's very possible, but I will predict a draw. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. I've been okay on score predictions, but United. This is the thing with United. Last year when we went into that run, I don't think anybody expected that. So this team is very unpredictable. You never know how they're going to come out and how they're going to play. But yeah, a 2-2 draw I could see happening. Wouldn't be a bad result, to be honest. Given that the last 3 years we've been absolutely dreadful there. We haven't even scored a goal, and so to score a goal would be an accomplishment at Goodis. So it's going to be a tough game, though. Very nervous for this one, but I'll go 2-2 draw.
That's the 2-2 draw. And just before you said that, in my head, I was saying 2-2 draw. I was literally mind reading you on the 2-2 draw, which in actual fact I can slightly see us scoring more than one goal. I don't know what reason it is. Possibly because we're going to stick Fellaini in somewhere and he might pop up. Marshall might score that goal. He should have scored against bloody Petr Cech. And he might run through Stones, who's just coming back. I'm not entirely sure what Stones' situation is, but I know that he could be due to play back. So maybe having a good route go at Stones could be a good option. Pasha, your score prediction, pal?
That's a tough one.
Well, I don't make these things easy for you, but yeah.
I personally think we're not going to win because I feel like coming back from international week, I think he's going to change up the tactics. So I do hope that. I think it will be, like you guys said, maybe 2-2, 1-1 draw. But if we do win, it comes down to the tempo of the game needs to be changed. If we change the style of our tempo and not make it so the build-up play is too slow, that needs to be changed. If that's fixed, we could beat any opposition any day in the EPL. But if we're gonna let Everton play the game to us, we're gonna lose it. At the end of the day, if we don't play ball, if we're just gonna sit there, just keep talking about Wayne Rooney, Wayne Rooney, Wayne Rooney. Fuck it, we're lost, right? We gotta play the game. That's it, right? And now the way the tactics work, just Schneider has to play. That's it. That dirty bastard that does the dirty work for us, that pushes the players up top to score goals that people don't normally. And he's another scapegoat that I've realized. He needs to play. Herrera alongside of him, possibility. I do hope Herrera has a role in this team playing, but if the only way we'll beat this team is on pace, on tempo. If it's too slow, I think we're gonna lose it, because they're a very compact team, and if Martinez brings like Delufu on and try to beat us with pace, we're gonna lose it. And yeah, talking too much, but it's a tough game. It's a tough game because we suck at Goodison Park. Let's just be honest. We suck at Goodison Park.
Yeah, we do suck at Goodison Park. Someone's mentioned this in the comments. I was going to go back to the comments for some score predictions as well. Jack said 2-2 or 2-0 Everton. They're just our bogey team. Yep. Swansea for bogey team. That's another good point, Thomas. What was it now? We've lost 4 seasons in a row, 3-1 to them. Or 3-2. We've lost some sort of scoreline. That, on a case, is actually fact. Going to be Prodigal Sean's fault, because he's always at Swansea away for some strange reason. The way that when it comes over, Matt's been quite predictable. He says very easy win, 4-0 United. There's not that much enthusiasm.
He said 4-0 to United.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where he was getting for that. But
they'll have what they're smoking.
He's probably the same guy. He's probably the same guy who's going to vote for Donald Trump, and he thinks the future of this country is in great hands.
Not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure if he's from the States, but you know, there's a 4-1 prediction in there as well. Adam Burgess has said he's got draw written all over it 2-2, so he's agreeing with me and Joey on that one. Joey did. Jack's putting back up that he thought we'd beat Arsenal 2-0, and he was wrong. So yeah, we could all be wrong in these predictions, guys. But that's the best part about predicting a scoreline. Thanks for watching, guys. It's good to get back on. Get subscribed for all those great interviews that Jonathan's got back up on. Me and Jonathan are going into Goodison Park on Saturday, so there will be an away day vlog coming on after that, which I'm going to be filming, so it's going to be absolutely manic and epic in all proportions. It could get a bit sweary at times, especially if we lose. But yeah, make sure you get tuned straight back into Straight News TV. We were back Sunday as well, so if you're going to want to get your opinions and points across for the result on the Saturday, make sure you tune in 9 o'clock Sunday for Straight News TV for Straight Sundays. And I'd like to thank our panel at the end of it, and you guys for watching. Joey and Pasha, it's been great to have you guys back on.
Thank you.
And we will. And we'll see you again sometime. Well, I say again sometime. We'll see you on Sunday. See you later, guys. Cheers.